YouTubers, and welcome to a new episode here. We are back, and this is episode number 21 of the ESGNet presents Sports Gamer Talk Soapbox podcast here on the channel. And welcome to episode 21. What a week it has been for the world of sports and sports entertainment. As we have a few things we're going to talk about this week here on the show. We're going to talk about this past Sunday, the WWE had their first SmackDown pay-per-view. It was WWE Backlash, and they crowned a new champion, a phenomenal champion, to be exact. This past Sunday, we'll get into that. Also, CM Punk down and gone from the UFC. We'll talk about that and talk about his match that he had in the UFC against Mickey Gill this past Saturday night. Also, we got some news on what's going on in Major League Baseball as the Cubs, yes, the Cubbies, playing some really good baseball right now and have clinched the NL Central. Yeah. They have clinched the NL Central, and they are going to be, they're pretty much going to be in the playoffs now. So we'll see how that is going to go about here. We'll get into that just a little bit. And then, of course, the news has been making news all week long, and that news is Colin Kaepernick. Yes, Colin Kaepernick. People are still pissed off about him kneeling, especially the first week of the NFL season, as we just recently celebrated, or I should say, celebrated, but celebrated in a somber way, remembering what happened 15 years ago, on September 11th, and of course the NFL started their NFL season last Sunday. And of course, Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during the Star Spangled Banner, the national anthem there. We'll get into that. Also, this has been actually not just trending in the NFL because several NFL players have done the same, but there has been a lot of people in college football, in high school football, and also in soccer, who have been joining Colin Kaepernick and many others in this protest of freedom of speech. And speaking of protests of freedom of speech, one young man in Ohio, I'll get into here a little later, got a little hot water about the whole Kaepernick situation, and he wasn't even protesting about it. So we'll get into that here in just a bit. But let's go ahead and start off here. Let's get into the square circle and into the arena of the MMA. And let's talk about some MMA and pro wrestling. Now, first off, we'll start with CM Punk. And CM Punk had his first match there at UFC 203 there in Cleveland, Ohio. And it was a very interesting match for his first match. Now, of course, CM Punk did not win that match. Match lasted only 2 minutes and 15 seconds. But a lot of people after the match was just pretty, and really not surprising, but pretty hateful about CM Punk and his first match there at UFC. Now, CM Punk, this was something he's wanting to do for a long, long time. Being mixed martial arts, besides being in pro wrestling. And this was one of the reasons, this was a reason why he left wrestling. Besides what was going on in WWE with the whole, him, having some nagging injuries that were not too good for him, not in the best of health. He had that staph infection that was not, and of course having staph is not great at all. That's something you should be, when you have that, you need to be taken very seriously because it can become life-threatening very quickly. And it really, he I mean, he pretty much called out the WWE and their medical staff, and the medical staff, of course, been having issues here of late, and with players getting injured, and I see the reason why. I still say he did the right thing to leave WWE, for them, not taking care of him and several other wrestlers, and that's why of course, some wrestlers have left the company because of just bad medical advice and stuff. CM Punk made his debut, and like I said, not a good one. 2 minutes 15 seconds of the match lasted. It didn't start off well at all, as Gil took CM Punk down with a takedown and just pretty much just start wailing on him. And finally the match ended up in a chokehold by Gil, and pretty much CM Punk had to tap out. Now, of course, CM Punk made a really good speech about kids, telling not just kids, but everyone. If you have something that you believe in, something that you strive for, go after it, and because that's what he did. And I totally agree with that. I believe that if there's something out there that you really want to do and pursue, especially if you have that talent to do so, then you need to go after it, because there's not too many people get second chances at doing something that they love. Not the best match, and of course a lot of people are saying, "Oh my goodness, this is a horrible match. It's embarrassing. Go back to pro wrestling. You don't deserve to be in UFC. This UFC is about real fighting and stuff like that." Well, okay, fine, yeah, that's true, but there's a lot of UFC fighters that really want to be pro wrestlers, and there's some that have the personality, but it doesn't translate to what they can do in the ring. And one of them I can think of is King Mo. Now, King Mo is a Bellarar fighter. And he was doing this for a while there. I think it was about 2-3 years ago when this was going on with TNA. He signed with TNA and Bellarar, and he was supposed to be doing this kind of a cross promotion type of thing. But I think also too they had Bobby Lashley, who's in Bellarar. Bobby Lashley, of course, has a history of wrestling. On the amateur level, he was amateur wrestler in college, and then continued on into pro wrestling, and then he's done some mixed martial arts. He's had a couple matches, nothing in UFC. I think he did some stuff in Pride and a couple other places, but nothing in UFC. But yeah, people in the past, and honestly, Brock Lesnar, probably people say, "Oh, Brock Lesnar, the first person to go from wrestling to mixed martial arts back to wrestling." Well, no, not necessarily. You got guys like Ken Shamrock, who were MMA wrestlers. They started off in UFC. They went to WWE and wrestled, and then came back to UFC. That's where he finally retired. And some of those wrestlers did a great job of understanding the business. They understand what it takes to be in UFC. They also understand what it takes to be in professional wrestling. Now, there have been some wrestlers, or I should say some professional mixed martial arts people that didn't do a good job at all going from UFC to WWE. Guys like Steve Blackman, who, numerous amounts. There's so many stories and rumors of him back in the day during the Attitude Era, where he threatened people, a lot of guys in the locker rooms' lives, and it's they were trying to tell him, hey, this is not. We do this for entertainment purposes. It's not to do bodily harm like they do in UFC. UFC is mixed martial arts is just like boxing. You go there to beat up a guy and make cash. And guys like Blackman, I think Dan Severance was another one that just didn't get that concept. They thought they were supposed to really hurt and just break people down, and it's like, no, this is this is entertainment purposes. There's going to be matches where you're going to have to get beat, and there's going to be matches where you'll have to you're the heel. If you're the heel, you have to make the babyface look good, and or if you're a face, you have to make the kid, get the stir the pot with the heel. So, there's like I said, there's issues with that and whatnot. But I think CM Punk, not the best match because for best first match, because the guy Mickey Yo is what, 24, 25 years of age. He's a young guy. He's been in pro wrestling or been professional mixed martial arts for a long time now. Very young, he started his career. So he's kind of already seasoned already. CM Punk is doing this in his late 30s. He's had careers in professional sports, professional wrestling. He's had a little bit of a mixed martial arts background, but not a very extensive one. He studied Muay Thai and several other martial arts. Because and you could tell from the style of wrestling he has that he has that in him. But professionally, this is his first professional fight and whatnot. It took him a year and a half, 2 years to train and stuff like that. So I don't see him leaving anytime soon. I think a couple more matches. Now, if the match gets to a point where he is getting, he's not having fun with it, then I think he'll probably end up leaving. Personally, I would like to see him come back to professional wrestling. And I know it won't be back at WWE unless something happens. Unless WWE and the powers that be, like people like Vince McMahon and who have the final say so on a lot of things. It'd be great to have him come back to WWE. But I think I enjoy seeing him being part of Ring of Honor, which he started his career out with. You got TNA, which would be, he could be a marquee guy that really could just help TNA in the way right now that TNA is not as popular and not as big as they used to be, 5 years ago. Right now, the hottest thing right now, I think in TNA right now is the whole delete or decay angle right now that's going on there. Which if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Well, I haven't watched this past week's, but I watched last week's the whole thing, and I think it's so great. I think I like this new Matt Hardy character and whatnot. It's funny, it's hilarious, and it's just something else. It's just something different. I enjoy it. It's not the same old that we see week after week with the WWE product. So. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you guys get to check it out. I'll try to see if I can find a link to that video. You guys can check it out if you haven't seen it yet. But we'll go on and move on here. Speaking of the WWE, they had their first pay-per-view, which was WWE Backlash. Backlash was this past Sunday. And, of course, there was some pretty good matches. One of the matches, of course, which a lot of people were talking about was the WWE Tag Team titles, or I should say the WWE Tag Team. I should say the SmackDown Tag Team titles. It was 3 teams were in the finals, but the team that were actually in the actual final match was Heath Slater and Rhino, and they had to wait to see who they faced, if they're going to face the Usos or if they're going to face the Hype Bros. Hype Bros, of course, lost the match, and the Usos went on. Of course, Usos have now a new look, a new feel to them. They're not the fan favorites. They're kind of the bad boys now, and kind of the same look and feel they had when they first started off in WWE. I don't know if you guys remember, but they were kind of just these guys that were just Samoan assholes. They were just I don't know what to put. They were just rude. They were crude, and I kind of like it. It gives it something different with the Usos. They've had this just kind of stuck in the rut kind of thing, and not doing the. Don't get me wrong. I miss them. I enjoy have them do their little. I can't think of the name now. The little thing they do before they come out, but that was kind of getting stale, and they need something else. So I think this new look and new feel, new attitude with the Usos, I think it's going to really make that tag team division just be a lot more electric. The other match was, of course, Becky Lynch winning the six-pack challenge for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I really thought Nikki Bella was going to be the winner, but the winner ended up being Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch had a great match there. In that final round, I was like, okay, somehow they're going to get Nikki being the champion and whatnot. Then it got down to the point where Nikki was eliminated. I'm thinking, like, wow, we're gonna see somebody different. We got a great opportunity to see someone do something. So I think it was Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, and I can't think who the other girl was. Oh, excuse me. I think it was Natalia. But that was a great, a little three-way dance with them, and then of course the winner of that match, being Becky Lynch. She is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. I didn't get a chance to watch this past Tuesday night show. I'm gonna try to watch her here after I do the podcast here. But yeah, I thought it was a really good match, and I'm glad to see her with some championship gold. And then, of course, the main event of the event of Backlash was none other than the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Dean Ambrose going against the phenomenal one, Mr. AJ Styles. So AJ Styles now is your new champion. He wins the match. It was a great back and forth match, and I think a lot of people are happy to see this. It was kind of a mixed emotions with a lot of people. A lot of people say that AJ should have waited a little bit longer to be champion. Other people are like, no, I'm tired of Dean. Dean's kind of getting stale. He's not fun as a World Heavyweight Champion. So we'll see here. We'll see. I think what I do know is now the next pay-per-view for SmackDown, I believe it will be a three-way dance between AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, and now John Cena, who's made a return. I forgot what the next pay-per-view is for SmackDown, but that's going to be a really good match if that is the official match for that main event for that pay-per-view. But yeah, AJ Styles, your champion. So he has now been champion in WWE. He's been champion in TNA, of course, many times there. New champion in Ring of Honor, and a champion in New Japan. So congratulations to AJ Styles going for the big four championships that are currently right now out there. And so yeah, I thought that was really cool. I'm glad to see AJ finally getting to the mountaintop. Not the way I wanted him originally to get it, but nonetheless he did get it, and he is now going to be he's now going to be definitely the face that runs the place there on SmackDown. So okay, let's move on here and let's get to some news here. Of course, go to this Diamond here. I was gonna say it's CM Punk's very most favorite team in the world, and that is the Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs over, I think it was on Wednesday or Thursday night, they clinched the NL Central title. So congratulations to the Cubbies. Yes, the Cubbies. Cubbies were my pick. That amongst friends and stuff, I told that, hey, this is a team, the way they played throughout the playoffs last year and just coming up a game short there in New York playing against the Mets. If they could put together a team and put together a team if they lost people, or the team that they have at that time currently, if they could just keep those intact and harness those and bring all that momentum from last part of last season into this season, they had something special there. And so far, I mean, it's looking really good. Now, of course, they did have some. They had a slump, or they had a pretty good slump there. About 3 weeks ago, but now bounced back. And overall, I mean, right now they are the solid team right now in the National League. I can't think of any other team that could compare to them. I mean, there's just not a team right now. I'm not saying they're going to win at all, but they are, I think, the team that will probably represent the National League in the World Series. So yeah, Theo Epstein. I mean, one of my favorite GMs out there. One of my young GMs under 30, or 35 or something like that. I think he is 30. I think he may be 30, 31. But just a brilliant mind, and just the way he's putting together his team, and the same way he did it just in Boston, now in Chicago, with the same kind of capita that he has, if not more, a little bit more. And I think the North Side, they have a good shot right now. Their odds are even better now to win a World Series this year than last year. So I really sincere, that clap that I just did, that was a very sincere clap. I am rooting for them, even if they're going to go against my Red Sox. I'm going to have to say, hey, the Cubbies deserve this. That city of Chicago deserves it. The North Side of Chicago. I mean, everybody in that, if ever been to that stadium before and cheered on the Cubs, they deserve to have a World Series win. It's just, to me, this is something awesome. 100 years more, they have won a championship. They've came close several times. Of course, if you think back to, was it 2003? The whole Bartman situation. People have not even mentioned that yet, and I'm surprised. I hope I didn't jinx them when I said that, but I mean, people have now. I think they've now wiped that out of their memory right now, and I think that's so great. Cubbies, congratulations, NL Central champions, and now we just got to see who they play against in this. For the divisional round. So we'll see how that goes here, which will be we still got 2 more weeks left in the season. So, all right, let's go ahead and get to actually talk about some sports gaming news here for a change. Talk about NBA 2K17. It was just released. Well, actually, no, the Prelude was released back on the 9th. Some people got it a day early. Some people got it on the 8th. But on the 9th, last Friday, the Prelude was released, which was MyCareer. It was about 4 or 5 games you could play, and kind of give the backstory of your character. Started in this year's MyCareer on NBA 2K17. Of course, then last night, the tip-off, if you pre-order the game, you got a code to get the game, to play the game early, try it out, because the game comes out this Tuesday, and of course, here on ESGNet, yes, we are already going. I think the first episode of the MyCareer NBA 2K17, the Prelude with Bart Barnes, is already up on the channel. This next couple episodes should be up here in the next couple of days, so stay tuned for that. Matter of fact, I think I got 2 episodes a day that I'm going to be working on and ready for sometime next week. So that should be fun, and should be exciting for a lot of you guys here on this so far. So far, at least here on YouTube, I've seen there's been some pretty good new characters that I've seen people make that normally have content here on the channel or on their channels, and so far, I mean, it's been kind of fun. It's been really interesting. I can't wait to get really into it for this year's new new mechanics and all that kind of stuff, and more in depth storyline. It's pretty cool. So and there's actually last night when I finished up the national championship game with Bart. There was another part of that which I thought was really cool. I'm not gonna say what it is. You'll have to check out the video to see what it is, but it's really cool. There's a scene. If you guys seen the trailer, Prez, who is that's of course your nickname for your character, he ends up talking to Coach K, and I think that was really cool. Coach K actually did his own voiceover and everything, and he's going to be in the game, and it's really cool how you meet with him and how you meet with him on that game. So if you haven't played the Prelude, definitely play. It's definitely a game that you need to really enjoy and play. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, that was pretty much. I mean, it's a lot been fun. I'm really now thinking about maybe even creating a second character because, with your character, not everybody's character is going to have the same path in the NBA. So everybody's path is supposed to be different. So you won't see the same thing. You won't see the same two things from people that play it. So you and your friend create a character, and your paths of getting to the NBA or going through the NBA are totally different than what they're all about. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, and I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait to really get into it. So yeah, that's some sports gaming news. Again, like I said, I'll try to leave a link to the first episode of Bart Barnes if you have not seen it yet. But this year, for NBA 2K17, we are going to bring back we're going to bring back a franchise. Now, last year I didn't get a chance to do a franchise. I just did a character, which was Troy Jenkins, which we're going to still continue with. We're still going to do that along with the 2K17 character. Bart Barnes, but Troy Jenkins we're going to still continue, and then also too occasionally we will have the 2K15. I had the OKC Thunder franchise. We're still going to do that and whatnot. So it's going to be with the I think I've decided with the 2K17 series. I have a couple teams in mind that I'm going to use. One of them, I think, it keeps just, I don't know, every time I look at that logo, the team is just like, yeah, pick me. So I think there's a team I am going to use. I will have a reveal video about who it's going to be when the game does come out, and I can capture some of the footage. But that'll be an edited series, so I'm going to edit that up. Unlike the OKC series, I actually play the full game. You guys can see everything. That series will still be that way, but we'll also do a lot edited series on that, and also kind of do like a recap of games and stuff like that as a whole. So I can't wait. That's going to be here coming up in the next couple weeks. Of course, on now go to the NFL. I'll shift our gears there. Madden 17 is coming out. We've had the first episode of Nick Barber. I hope you guys have been enjoying that one. I've actually had some pretty good feedback from that. But we'll start the franchise here coming up, and I actually gonna get on that too later on today, filming some of that. So you guys should hopefully be able to see that sometime at the end of next week, for sure. We are going to try to wrap up the Packers franchise. We're getting very close to. I've already filmed a couple of games already, so we're in the playoffs right now. So we'll get into that and try to wrap that series up also. Yeah, I mean it's a busy time right now in sports gaming right now. You got, Madden just came out, 2K17, or NBA 2K17 is coming out, will be coming out. We got wrestling coming up towards the beginning of the month in October. FIFA will be coming out here shortly. Hockey is going to be coming out here. I mean, there is so much going on. I can't keep up with it, and I'm hoping, like I said, to get a lot of this stuff for you guys, and try to get out there in a timely fashion. All right, let's go ahead and get into. Let's go ahead and get into it. This is my soapbox of the week. All right, so last couple of weeks now, we've been talking about Colin Kaepernick and this whole protest that he's been doing, and there's actually been some people been making some pretty good saying, hey, Colin needs to stick it with it. I'm going to support him. I'm going to be like. There's been numerous amounts of NFL players in all 32 teams that have been supporting him, and with the cause and whatnot. There's been a lot of politicians that have said that he's doing the right thing. This is exactly what Americans. There's the whole point of freedom of speech. Speaking your mind, speaking, against things that are just. But then, of course, too, you got people that are saying some really mean, nasty things, and things I really don't want to try to repeat here on the channel, because it's only going to get me more flustered, especially on Twitter. I mean, there's so many. And then what gets me is on Twitter, people are saying that they have no picture, they have no avatar of themselves. So it's like, okay, I'm talking to a faceless. Person with a Twitter has a phone where is sitting there calling me all these names, using these racial slurs and stuff like that, and they don't have the balls enough to show their face. To me, that's a coward's way of getting your voice out there. Because if you can't show your face, then don't come on my Twitter and cussing me out, and you want to put an avatar picture of. Of whatever. You don't want to put your face on there. Yeah, okay, whatever. Kaepernick, kneeled this past Sunday. Now, a lot of people are really, and this only I can see why they're upset. But again, this is the point that he's been trying to make. Kaepernick. It was Sunday. This past Sunday was September 11th. The 15th year anniversary of the attacks of the Twin Towers, not to mention the Pentagon, and of course they're in rural Pennsylvania. Now Kaepernick wasn't the only one that has been kneeling, and he's been doing this throughout the whole preseason and then now the first week of the NFL. Defensive end Chris Long. Shares his perspective with a lot of he was on ESPN this past week. I think he was on First Take, and I think he was even on SportsCenter. But he said that he is behind and backing Colin Kaepernick, and he sees a reason why, because he believes the same thing as if we are truly a just and equal country, then we need to be that. We need to be respecting everyone's wishes and everyone's rights. And he goes on and says that people that are saying that that veterans are upset and mad and whatever. Okay, that there may be some, but there's actually been some veterans of all colors, not just black, but white, Hispanic, and stuff that says that Colin Kaepernick is doing exactly what they are fighting for, which is making a not necessarily a political statement, but a statement about our country. That he is right. He is telling the truth that people are our country is not truly equal. It's all right for a white male to hold, as long as he has a carrying concealed license, it's all right for them to have a handgun on them, and and say, well, I believe in my right to bear arms and da 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 da. It's like, okay, it's perfectly fine to protect your amendment right of having the right to bear arms, but the most important right that we have on there, and it's the first right on the in the Constitution is the freedom of or the Bill of Rights, is the freedom of speech. Not being told to be shut up because of my beliefs. Be able to speak publicly about the injustice of whatever is ailing me or ailing a group of people. When I seen this interview with Chris Long, and of course there were several other celebrities and other athletes were saying the same thing, I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, that's so right. If someone, and I had a good talk with a friend about this, it's like I get nervous if there was a guy at a bar at a local bar that I went to, and the guy had his concealed carry license, and he had a rifle, he had a gun on him, and to me, I'm more scared of that than Kaepernick going out there and kneeling. And Kaepernick is doing a non-violent, protest. He's not even saying nothing. He's not even making a big deal about this. And people on the other hand are spewing out these racial slurs. Threatening to find where he lives at and harm him, not just him, but his family. And it's like, people, we're going way too far. Well, you're offending my rights for free speech. You're doing the same damn thing to him. It's only right. Your freedom of speech is only right because, you're privileged. And of course he's considered not. And then people are saying, oh, he's an athlete. He needs to just shut up and just play the sport. He's wealthy and blah, blah. Okay. Okay. Let's put that to logic here. So you're telling me that a guy who's an athlete, who's doing something positively, trying to get a message out there about something that he had a platform, or let's say a soapbox to stand on, and he wants to talk about injustice that's going on. He has this big platform. He can go on TV and talk about this. But yet and still, we tell athletes, oh, you're a role model. You need to have a positive, you need to speak out about things that are not right. That does not make any damn sense. That does not make any damn sense to me. You say, oh, you need to be a role model, but now you're saying, no, shut up and just play the sport. You just shut up and do what your job is. Keep all of the other stuff off the court. What the hell? No. If that's the case, then okay. When players are out there saying, well, I'm wearing this ribbon or I'm doing this to make it. No, don't, no. No one says, oh, you shouldn't talk about that. I'm wearing this, like next month, October, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. There's gonna be a lot of NFL players gonna be wearing pink. To me, if that's the case, that's the same kind of thing, same kind of statement that Kaepernick's making. That NBA or NFL, we should stop wearing pink. That to me, because not everybody's affected by breast cancer, so we shouldn't be. Players shouldn't. No one should be wearing pink on the field. To me, it's just, I think there's just a lot of ignorant people in this world. There truly is, and they don't like what he says. And then this would really get I can't get is these people. There have been Kaepernick jersey burnings on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. And these people, like, mind you, you know how much these jerseys cost. These people are burning expensive jerseys. Jerseys are no more than like 60, 70, 80, $90. Some jerseys $100. Okay, so you're telling me you're going to make a political statement, you're going to go out your way, burn $100 jersey just to make a political statement. Yet your family over here is starving. Okay, that makes complete fucking sense. Excuse my language, people. But that makes complete sense. Yes, I'm gonna, I'm hurt. We live in a time right now where a lot of people cannot afford food or can't afford, to pay their bills. But you know what? I'm gonna go to, Foot Locker. Or I'm gonna go to Champs, or I'm gonna go somewhere. And hey, you guys want to sponsor me? Hey, more power to you. But you're gonna go to some sporting goods store, buy a Kaepernick jersey, or go on NFL.com and buy a Kaepernick jersey, and burn it. And at that, you realize Kaepernick gets a good portion of that cash that is being sold. His jersey is being sold. He gets a cash. He gets a figure, and that goes to him. So in retrospect, you're disliking a guy that is making letting people know about a social issue that's been going on, which is violence amongst African Americans and minorities. And at the same time, you're paying this guy to make that statement. Makes no damn sense. You hate the guy, but yet so you're paying for you're giving him cash, and making him rich. It's like, I'm thinking, I'm sitting there laughing. I'm like, really? Like, you guys don't know the economics of all this? Like, woo. Yeah. And at that, and don't get me wrong, and this even makes it even worse. Kaepernick is the highest sold jersey this season. Already. Week 1. NFL. Number 1 in sales for his jersey. Yeah. Explain that to me. When I heard about that and everything, I was just like, this country is nothing but just a sack full of dumbasses. People are burning these damn jerseys, not respecting his rights to make a freedom of speech. And then don't get me wrong, wait until Kaepernick starts having his numbers start going up. He starts having career numbers. I'm telling you now, between now and going to week 10, I can see him have some amazing, astronomical numbers that are going to get people scratching their head like, what the hell? Why is he playing so good? And they can't, and then people, if he's winning games and he's getting that team rolling, trust me, there are going to be so many people backpedaling. Oh man, Kaepernick's so awesome, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's great. I think I feel like I'm repeating myself from last week. But I'm just telling you, I would not be surprised if that's actually happening. I would not be surprised if that happens and people start backpedaling. Or if worse, something else happens. Wait, and just give it time. There's going to be another story that will pop up in sports that, people are going to be offended by, and they'll forget all about Kaepernick. And it'll just be another, something else that won't be able to talk about, or won't even talk about it anymore. Won't even mention it. I don't know. But, we continue to watch to continue making a big deal. As, everybody's eyes going to be on him tomorrow as, they get ready to, I think they play, I forgot who they play next week, or this week too. I forgot who the 49ers play. But yeah, people are going to be watching that. I think they play Cardinals, I think. I'm not for sure. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Kaepernick's going to kneel again. It's like, people, get over it. There's so much other things going on that are a lot more important than Kaepernick. I mean, for goodness sakes, we have a freaking election coming up. I was going to say, in mention of that, there is a link down below from the Daily Show. And Trevor Noah makes some good points. And the same ones I've made and a couple others that I've kind of now trying to figure out, trying to remember what I was trying to rant about. But he makes some pretty good rant about the Kaepernick issue and whatnot, and definitely check it out. If you did not watch the Daily Show this past week, I think it was on Monday night. It was either Monday or Tuesday night. He made this rant about the whole Kaepernick situation and whatnot, and it's a good segment. You definitely got to check it out. But yeah, I'll leave a link down there below on that. Now, we're continuing with the Kaepernick issue. There was a story from the New York Daily News. A writer by the name of Sean King, a really good, excellent writer for the New York Daily News, heard about this story that happened in Springfield, Ohio. Now, I don't know if you guys heard about this. It hasn't made national news just yet. And I'm sure it will after this whole, if this continues, this Kaepernick issue that everybody is so offended by. Oh, I'm so offended. Continues. I'm sure it'll make news. But a young man by the name of Elijah Scott, a 16-year-old who works at a local Kroger's there in Springfield, Ohio. I guess they have his employers have a day where they can wear their favorite jersey, their favorite player, or a T-shirt of their team. Kind of morale and just kind of a change of pace. I know a lot of places did this. Where I work at currently, we used to have Fridays where it was like fun T-shirt Friday. So it was like you wore something from the university, so you wore something from Mo West, or you wore a Kansas City Chiefs shirt or Kansas City Royals shirt, or something that was Kansas City, local teams, kind of give them support. Kind of like it was a Friday thing. You got to do it. You got to wear jeans, kind of a more relaxed kind of thing to it. And since then, it's been a year, a little more a year now. We haven't been allowed to do it, but anyway, so there's places that do this. So yeah, the 16-year-old got a new Colin Kaepernick jersey. He's a big 49ers fan, and of course he's a fan of Colin Kaepernick. He put it on, went to work, clocked in, and started bagging groceries like normal, nothing unusual. Then it came time for his lunch break, and the manager says, "Hey, Elijah, I need to talk to you." Elijah goes like, "Okay," goes to the office, talks to his boss, and his boss says, "Hey, I need you to go home, and I need you to change your shirt." And, he's like, "Okay," he says, "Why? What's going on?" And so, yeah, of course, other employees are wearing jerseys. And Elijah is told that an employee, or a customer, has complained to the manager and said that he wasn't going to shop there again if the young man didn't change his jersey, because he saw the Kaepernick jersey as disrespectful. Now, I don't know. We don't know if the man was a former veteran, and which really gets me on a side note where there's so many talking heads on a lot of news networks saying, "Oh, veterans are so upset about this," and Okay. There's actually been veterans, a good portion of veterans are saying, "Hey, we support Kaepernick. This is the whole point. This is the reason why people have sacrificed their lives, is to have that right being used. Using that right to freedom of speech, making it a statement, and not being not being hated on it. We're being, people. I mean, yes, you may not like it, but you know what? Don't say he don't have the right to do it, because you know why? He does have that right to do it. There's a piece of paper there in Washington, D.C. that says he has those rights. And people are like, "Oh, it's not a race thing." No, in a lot of ways it is. Because you know why? Because you're making it a race thing. Because you're making racial slurs. You're threatening his life, and not just his life, but his teammates' lives. his family's life and everything. But to continue on, Diane Scott, the mother of Elijah, said that she speak to the manager, he speak to his boss, and of course, according to the Daily News, they interviewed his manager, his boss, and they said, quote, it was December 11th, and Elijah was on company time, and we could not allow to disrespect customers. So this happened this past Sunday. This incident happened. He goes on to say that, or she goes on to say, the mother of Diane Scott said that they should have stood up for their employees and just let the customer go. My son didn't do anything wrong, and he just wore the jersey with the simple fact because he's a fan of Kaepernick. It wasn't because of a fan of Kaepernick because of what he stands for. He's just a fan of Kaepernick. Kaepernick's been his favorite player ever since he's appeared in the NFL. Elijah, of course, he goes on to say that Elijah's being treated in similar ways of many African Americans experience in this country because of their color of their skin, or their views on things. And again, I'm going to get off of this sidetrack here. It just really upsets me that people, that are just assume that he's trying to start, he's trying to start controversy. He's just trying to give people a bad name and da da da. No, Kaepernick is only telling the truth. If you're so troubled by the truth, then change what he's talking about. Have people have equal rights. Respect other people's rights. He's an American citizen. We need to respect him. You may not like what he does and says, but you know what? He has a right to do that. He has a right to say that. And at this, he is not harming anybody. He is not harming anybody. Only thing he's probably harming is that person's belief system. And you want to sit there and deny saying that there's no bad things happening in this country to minorities in this country? That is a damn lie, and you know it. I tried not to make this show too political or about race, but I mean honestly, if you do not look at this and see that there's a issue of race in this, then you're a damn liar. You know there is, and that's why people are upset, because he's a black male, who has money, and they figure, well, you have money, and you just need to shut up. Just shut up and play ball. You don't have no say so in this. Again, he does. This is his platform. This is the best. This is the perfect time for him. He is trying to stand up and show that, hey, I'm not just a black man, but I'm a black athlete, and I recognize there are problems in this country, and I need to take what I have and use it as a way as a springboard to get the conversation going in our country, and actually do something, take action to it. And that is exactly what Kaepernick's doing. I applaud him for doing that. And quite honestly, here coming up, I got a couple of events I'm going to, sporting events, and I probably will end up doing the same thing. I will not stand for the national anthem. I will sit there. There's a soccer player. This was what I meant to do. Talk about. There was actually a female soccer player that says the same thing. And at that, she believes the same thing as him. And it's just not just about. And Kaepernick says it's not about blacks. It's not a black and white issue. It's more of a majority versus the minority. He wants to change things, just not in the black community, but in all communities. All communities are being oppressed. And I forgot what the young lady's name is. That's a soccer player, but she's a woman, and she's also gay. And she says that she's inspired by Kaepernick, and feels the same way. And I think that's awesome. I think that's great. And I think that's what a lot of people just don't understand. And I think a lot of people are just upset with change. Oh, there's too much change going on. That's not good. No, change is good. Sometimes we need a change. We need a change. You can't, if you live in a damn rut, you go in, day out, you are not living. You're not living. You're just there. You're just, it just, to me, it makes no sense at all, being that way. But going back onto what, about the story about this young man, Elijah Scott, it goes on to say that, in his article, he goes on to say, day in and day out, conservatives rave about their constitutional rights, but African Americans have those same rights tampered upon. They go silent and then seem not to care at all. And then conversations go on and on. They're high, or he goes on to talk about conservatives going on about their right to bear arms, but African Americans are seen by the police with a weapon, or even a shadow of a weapon, and are often shot and killed on contact. It can be an open carry state where a white man and white woman freely and openly carry a huge semi-automatic rifle just to show the world they can. But little boys like there's two boys in Ohio who had I don't know if you guys remember this, but they had a handgun or had a BB gun, and they were shot and killed without any kind of hesitation at all. Of course, it goes on to say Kaepernick, who is a peaceful, delicate, and reserved young man, has exercised his constitutional right for free speech. Conservatives somehow find a way to say he's sympathetic to ISIS or simply taking a knee against injustice in his country. As students and athletes all over the country joined in taking a knee, they received threats, racial slurs, as being condemned, and that's not what it should be at all. All people who believe in free speech should not be told, "Oh, you need to shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. You need to shut up." And especially when you have especially these group of individuals have the facts to back it up. And to me, like I said, there's no justice. This country is not equal at all. And I think, and like I said, in this last part of this article, and like I said, I have a link to the article. You guys can read more about it. But Kaepernick stands for. He goes on to say Kaepernick stands for. His stance has seen more and more appropriate. This country does not have a liberty and justice for all. It's not the land of the free. And then he goes on to say that our pledge and anthems are phony as a $3 bill, written by people. They weren't written with people of color in mind, and this country continues to operate on virtually every plane as a separate and unequal nation. And I totally agree with that so much. And going back to say this, this podcast is supposed to be something that is lighthearted. We talk about issues that are going on in sports and stuff like that. And this issue right now that's going on with the Kaepernick situation, this right here, we're proving the fact that a person of any minority, or just say a person that is wealthy, who's an athlete, who's trying to be positive, and not, create negativity on the world. This is what we need. Unlike you have a dumbass down there in fucking College Station by the name of fucking I can't think of his name now. Johnny Manziel. Creating all this issue, drinking, going out, drinking and having all these crazy ass parties, not taking his job seriously as an NFL quarterback, begging and pleading, and then just snapping fucking fingers, he's right back on the field, back there playing football, and then of course now he's not playing football right now because nobody wants to take a risk on him. But beforehand, if that was a player of minority, they would be gone. We would never hear from him ever again. Case point. Look at Jamarcus Russell, great quarterback, a decent college quarterback. Came to the NFL. Yes, he has some issues, but now he can't even get a job in the quarterback. Teams are not even, and he didn't even get a second chance at all. That was it. Separate and unjust nation. That's what this place is. And I'm not trying to say I'm unpatriotic, but it's just really really gets to me, just really digs into me that, people are saying all this stuff about Kaepernick and stuff, and they're not even listening. They're not even truly listening to what he's saying. They're just telling him, shut up, go out there and play football. We don't want to hear what you have to say. We don't want to hear about, what you believe in, what you're trying to, to correct, or what you're trying to, and try to inspire people to change things. No, we don't want that. We just want you out there and just toss the fucking football. And it's like we don't want you to be a role model, but yet, on the other hand, you want these guys to be role models. Oh, you need to quit drinking, or there's too many issues going on in the NFL. The players need to, they got this great opportunity. They got this great talent. They need to use they need to use their abilities. You need to use their platform in the NFL to change people's lives, to improve people's lives. What do you think Kaepernick is doing? He is the first person that's trying to have a serious conversation about change in this country. He's letting everyone know there is these things, X, Y, and Z are happening, and we need to change it. Anyway, there's a link down below on the story. You guys can read about it, about the young man. And I really feel bad for this young man. I mean, he's only 16 years of age. And most 16-year-olds, honestly, to be quite honest, how many 16-year-olds are actually going to get have a job? I mean, especially in this day and age, it's hard for try to get your child to take a job. I mean, they want all the so-called cushy jobs. It's like, no, you need a job. You need to make sure you have a paycheck. Learn the responsibilities of money. What the value of money is. And this young man, of course, has been taught well from his mother. She wants to, teach her son that, the value of a dollar, what money truly is. I applaud her for that. For that young man, he going, in the article, he didn't wear the jerseys for the simple fact of, offending people because of the whole Kaepernick issue. It's just he wore the jersey because it was, he was a Kaepernick fan. He loved he's a 49ers fan. He's a Kaepernick fan, and that's why he wore it. And people were saying, "Oh, I'm disrespected." Okay, I'm disrespected by a lot of people that wear a lot of stuff, but I don't say nothing. And I'm getting to the point now, maybe I should. I go in the store, I see somebody, hell, I mean, next time I see go to Walmart, I'm like, you know what, that vest right there, that person's wearing, you need to get rid of it. What do you mean, sir? Yeah, that vest, that Walmart vest, yeah, get rid of it. It offends me. You're not paying these, you're cheating these people out of money. Not giving them a fair wage, no kind of benefits or anything like that. They can't miss they can't even miss a day of work. If they do, they get fired. Yeah. I get fired up about that. Anyway, that's my soapbox of the week. Those two things are going on. You guys can read the article about that young man there in Ohio, and of course read the article that Chris Long made some really good, strong arguments about this whole Kaepernick thing, that people are just blowing this way out of proportion, and it does not need to be this serious at all. We've seen stuff like this in the past come and go, and of course, athletes are, and there's some athletes. I mean, ever since these shootings have been going on with it's just not just been with the African American men that have been shot and killed, young men that have been killed, but there have been just these shootings in general that all people have said, hey, we've had enough. We're tired of seeing people get gunned down for no reason. And not just by police officers, but just everyday people that just go into a mall and just start shooting up the place or shoot up a college just for no reason. We're tired of it. Government, we want to see change things. It just really, like I say, it really fires me up about this issue. But that, like I said, read those two articles right there, and they were pretty good reads there. Really enjoyed it, especially that rant from Trevor Noah from The Daily Show. It's a really good rant. He makes some really good, strong arguments about the whole thing. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and let's move on here to continue in the NFL. Let's talk about what happened. Week 1, we had some pretty exciting games that were, I think we had what was it? I'm trying to think of the game I watched. What was it? I forgot what game it was that I watched. Damn it. The Dolphins. The Dolphins game was a really good game. That was a really fun game. Of course, the Panthers and the Broncos, and that was actually, yes, that was one of the things I was wanting to really talk about here. All right, so we had a Thursday night game last week. And I think we kind of mentioned it last week here on the show about the whole issue of player safety and, of course, Cam Newton. Now, I'll tell you now, I'm not a Cam Newton fan at all. Never have been, especially back in the days when he was with Auburn. I still say to this day there's going to be someone has got information about the dealings with his dad and the taking money and the whole NCAA violation. I think that's still going to come up. Someone has information on that. Someone has a smoking gun, and it's going to be released. So yeah, we'll get that'll be another video for another time. But I do say that all players, not just quarterbacks, but all players need to be protected on the field. I don't understand why players, especially defensive players, want to use their head as a weapon. Okay, you realize that helmet doesn't totally protect you. It's only supposed to protect you for just minor stuff, minor issues. Not I'm going to use my head as a spear and spear you, your chest. Because when I see guys do that stuff, I laugh. I'm like, yeah, good job, dumbass. You're gonna be in a wheelchair here in probably the next year or two. For fucking using your head as a damn spear. Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, that is the proper way to tackle someone. Is use your fucking head to knock them out, and you're sitting there all sitting there twitching and can't get up and can't move. And it's like, yeah, you dumbass. You don't use your head as a fucking weapon. I don't get it. People are still upset about that, and rightfully so that the referees in that game should have called penalties upon Broncos players using using ruthless tactics like that on a quarterback, especially on a defensive quarterback or a defensive player. Roger Goodell has already said they're going to be spending several thousands of dollars to talk to different people about the safety and about the issues of concussions, and also on just improving the safety of players on the field, and also youth. Having youth, because honestly, NFL, to me, if you do not address this and you do not do something about this and change the safety of the players, then your profession, that profession of football, the professional level, it will cease to exist here, because parents are not going to sit there and let little Billy play football when they're in grade school or in junior high, because it's like, well, why should I have him play football? And the players are not, again, role models are not showing the proper way how to tackle or the proper way how to wrap up a player. And people are like, oh, if they change all these rules, oh, you might as well just play flag football. Well, one, it'd be a lot more entertaining, because I'm tired of seeing these guys trying to wrap up a guy, and it looks. I'm like, how the hell are you tackling? Like, your arm should be broken or your neck should be snapped because the way you tackle them. It's like, what the hell happened to the art of tackling? I mean, seriously, what the hell happened? I don't know. Maybe I grew up in the wrong era of football. But I'm just looking at some of these games. I'm like, oh my god! Like, yes, players are bigger and stronger and faster than their counterparts from just even 20 years ago. But I don't understand why these referees did not make calls on these Broncos players, and sitting there, not protecting, especially a marquee player like Cam Newton. And yeah, I mean, are the quarterbacks being too protected? Yes, they are. There are times when the quarterbacks are just, come on, man up. You got hit. But at the same time, you got these defensive. You got to look at the defense players like, hey, you're all out here to make a living. This is not Gladiator where you have to kill to be successful. Killed or be killed. It's not that. It's a game that all you are going to have to deal with. Are going to have to make money. You all want to make money. You're all going to have issues after the game. And that's another thing. These players that are going off and saying that, saying all this stuff. Oh, yeah, these guys, they're being too soft on the quarterbacks and wide receivers. They need to man up and stuff. Okay, yeah, you're the same ones going on the field and getting hit, and you're waiting. You're on the. To me, get them off the fucking field. We got a game to play. That's why I say to some of these players, get off the fucking. You're talking all this shit, but yet still you're sitting there. You're on the field crying because you got hit hard. Man up, like you told the other guy. Man up. Get off the field. Get up. Get ready for the next play, or get the hell off the field. Simple as that. I don't get why people, can't have any, I guess football can't show any kind of compassion, I guess. Yes, I mean it's a sport. You get testosterone pumping. You got you're getting excited. You want to play well and stuff like that. But at the same time, you can still show compassion. You still show sportsmanship to your fellow player. And some reason for right now, this was I kept thinking back in my head. James Harrison, going back to the Kaepernick thing, James Harrison this past week. Now Harrison has been in trouble for. If you guys remember, about a year or two ago, I want to say it was 2 years ago, he got in trouble because he had a gun violation or whatnot. He got in trouble for the NFL. He had his guns. He had two 360 or 350 Magnums or whatever in a article he was in a gun article he was involved in about the fascination of guns and like that. And he had him up, he had a little pose and stuff like that. And, he was mad because nobody, he didn't have much support because, people thought he was, the intimidation factor and, people were upset about him. Okay. Seriously? So, and then after that, you had people backing you up. You had fellow teammates were backing you up. But then turn around and now recently here, he said something about if he sees anybody on his team, anybody on the Steelers taking a knee during the national anthem, he was gonna break their legs. So if you don't have it, he goes on to say, if you don't have an injury and you can't stand up to take the national anthem, then you better, how do you say it? Yeah, if you don't have an injury and you can't stand up, your ass better be standing up. If not, I'm gonna break your legs. Something along the lines like he said that. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, seriously? So you are gonna make you're gonna dictate that nobody on that team can have the right to say anything. I'm sorry. That Harrison guy is a moron. I would tell him straight to his fucking face. You're a fucking moron. Matter of fact, I think on Twitter, I called him a moron. I'm like, you're a fucking moron. How are you gonna sit there and say that? But it's all right for you to post for fucking post on a magazine article, and talk about your guns. Which to me, you're just no different than all these other motherfuckers running around here with carrying conceal. Think you're Johnny, but just because you got a gun, you're Johnny Badass. And you can do whatever you want. Okay. But just because you have carrying conceal doesn't mean you can't go to jail for murder. That's what I said. I can't wait till he gets into the hot game. Of course, he trouble's like on his doorstep. Whenever as soon as he leaves the house, trouble's right behind him. So whatever, James Harrison, you're an idiot. You're a damn idiot. You truly are. Not when he said that, when I heard about that, I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised with him saying that. He's a fucking idiot. Yeah, I want you to tell me that I can't. If I have the same belief as Colin Kaepernick and see the same thing as I believe what he is, I can believe in what he is saying and see it. I'm going to take a knee. Sorry. If I have the same beliefs as him and want to do that and have the same, I dare you to break my damn legs. Can I tell you now, the owner of owner of that team won't like it, especially if I'm a very well skilled skills player, important to offense or defense. Yeah, I dare you to break my damn legs. That's a lawsuit coming out, and yeah, that's a lawsuit that I can't wait to put up. Not to mention ruin team morale. Yeah. Yeah, he's a damn idiot. But anyway, what was but yeah, it's just I can't believe that people are not willing to take the time and just talk about this whole or the NFL doing anything about these refs. Now, as far as I know, I think these refs have been suspended. So they won't be working any games this week. But, like I said, everyone on that field should be protected. And if guys are out there, and the whole idea of targeting, if they're out there targeting other players, I'm sorry. they need to be fined. Hit them where it hurts. Hit them in that pocketbook. Hit them in their wallets. Hit them, when, not just on the field but off the field. $50,000. Oh, you target, you did this. Oh, $50,000. I'm telling you now, you guys. And if you can't, if you don't want to go after players, go after the owners. Oh, trust me, the owners lose money. Oh, trust me. The next thing you know, they're gonna go after the player. The owners are gonna say, you know what, you need to calm down. You need to, trust me. If everyone is owners get taking money out of their, penalized, and the players get penalized on and off the field, trust me, things will change. People are going to be tackling properly, not targeting players. Not having just the Saints a couple seasons ago, the whole bounty thing. That'll end. It's like you guys are all out there for the same reason. Remember, you're playing a kid's game. Grown-ass men playing a kid's game and getting paid big bucks for it. I'm a sports fan. I love sports. But at the same time, you don't have a real job. And that's a whole other issue. People are like, oh, yeah, it's a real job. They have to train. Yeah, for some of them. Some of them actually take it as a real job. Others of them, no. It's just a payday. We got to tell you now, a lot of these guys that are playing professional sports, if you took them out to a everyday job, I would say a good over half of the damn league couldn't do a simple day job, simple 9-to-5 job. They just couldn't do it. A lot of them don't have the skills to do just simple things. Regardless of their color. Don't matter what their color is. They don't have the skills to do it because I'm good enough to play in the NFL. All I do is just do 2 years and I'm done. Well, I tell you this much: a lot of y'all don't save that money that you get from playing football. A lot of y'all go in debt real quick, buying 4 or 5 cars, buying a bunch of houses. Not to mention have a bunch of kids like Roger Cromartie. He has 27 kids from several different baby mamas. And he pays I don't know how much, thousands of dollars in child support. I'm like, damn. Somebody should have found a hobby besides, laying on their back. Or laying on someone else's back. Oh my goodness! Yeah, I know this show has turned really dark this week, but it's just I don't know. We'll hopefully learn more about what they're gonna do when it comes to it, and of course, a lot of this will have to do with the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement. They're gonna have to. It's gonna have to be the owners and the players get back together again and figure out a way how they can. What the penalty will be is for targeting, because I agree. A lot of people, a lot of sports people, a lot of writers, and a lot of the sportscasters and stuff like that. Why does the NFL don't use the college rule in targeting? When it comes to targeting, seriously, if you want to protect the game, you want people to invest their money to come see in the game. You want people, if you want this business, if you want the NFL to continue and not have parents freak out about their kid playing football on the field and know that they're being protected and have that peace of mind that, hey, when your child's on that field, we're going to take care of them. If they don't do this, the NFL is going to be dead in the water. And I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing players play for a couple of for maybe a season or two and just say, hey, I'm done. I made my money. I was smart enough to invest my money. I've got to be able to live my dream. I'm done. And not to mention, you're going to see a lot more people get hurt. You're going to see a lot more people getting, you're going to see the NFL being in the courtroom a lot more often, getting sued by players that are or former players that played and got hurt on the field, regardless if they were targeting or not. Things are going to have to change in NFL. I'm sorry. Owners, I'm sorry. You're going to, both sides, both players and owners, you're going to have to come together and you're going to have to come up with something. Because if you don't, you're done. You're not going to be the most popular sport in the world. And of course, people, oh, no, that'll never happen. No, it will happen. Trust me. It will happen. Especially if the other sports get a win of this, and especially other sports are like, hey, we're going to start changing things up to make the game, improve the game even more safe. You know, baseball, basketball, hockey. You know, for Lord forbid, international, sports like soccer, like football, soccer. If they start changing those sports, other sports start changing their things up to make the game more safer and more appealing to parents, have their kids, hey, you got to play this sport. This sport's a lot more safer. NFL, you're in trouble. That's when it comes down to it. All right. Well, I know I've realized I went over our time. I'm almost an hour and a half here on the show. Trying to think, did we get through everything? Let's go ahead and go into some of the picks this week for NFL. We got the Steelers you got the Bengals at Steelers. I'm gonna pick the Steelers. Last week the Dolphins played a really good game. Even though they didn't win, they came up short and could have won it. I think this week, Jimmy Garoppolo, I think reality will set in. Now, last week he had a great game. That first week, week 1 game against the last Sunday night against the Cardinals. Really great game there, good game. But I think this week, reality might set in a little bit, and I think the Dolphins might take a victory from them. You got Colts, Broncos. Again, that's a game I think that a lot of people are going to be like, okay, we seen what the Broncos did last week. That defense, are they going to try some of the same things against Andrew Luck? It is at home. Their second straight week at home. So we'll see how this referee said. Will the game be tight? Just a simple fact because it is the Broncos, and will there be more penalties to be called in that game to try to make up what happened between the game against the Broncos and Cardinal, or the Broncos and Carolina? We'll have to find out. And then finally, you got the Eagles and Bears, and I'm going to pick the Eagles on that one. Pretty much all last week, the quarterbacks that were drafted this past spring have actually looked pretty good. Gantz has really looked really well. He looks like he was in mid-season form. That first drive that he had. He just lofted one up there and it was a touchdown. It just, you don't see that, but and I'm not trying to blow him up or anything, or make him sound bigger than what he is. But that game that he had last week was really good for him, and hopefully that'll continue on this week. So those are my picks for this week. Some of the games that are going on. I will say too, locally here, the Kansas City people are just going nuts about the Kansas City Chiefs game. I know at one point I had a friend that texted me. He's like, I'm leaving the game. They've already ruined the season. And no more than as soon as he texted me and did that, I call him up and he's on I-70 and he's listening to the radio and he's like, what the hell's going on? Damn it, why did I because the Chiefs made a pretty amazing comeback in that game against the Chargers there and won the game. So big ups to the Chiefs there, winning week 1. Very, very scary moment. Because there was a lot of people that were really, really upset. I've seen so many Facebook posts about that game. I'm thinking like, oh man, I actually had another friend of mine actually invited me to that game, and I told him, I was like, nah, I don't feel like, I'll take a rain check. I'll go to another game with you. And, he was very disappointed and very upset. He left, I think, at I think he left towards the third quarter, midway through the third quarter, and he left. And then he was on Twitter, and I seen some of his Twitter posts, and he couldn't believe it either. So, that's week one, man. That's already week one. So, like I said, some pretty exciting games week one. College football, of course, full swing right now. We're in week 3 in that. And there's always, of course, crazy things going on with that. Houston had a great week last weekend as they beat Oklahoma. This week, I think Thursday night, they played. I can't remember who they played, but they won that game. It was another close game there. So, University of Houston really making a lot of buzz about them so far this season here. So, but yeah, college football, full swing also. So, hopefully your favorite team has won. Hopefully your whatever your NFL team has won. Hopefully your fantasy football is doing great. I know mine. I lost a very close game last week against a good friend of mine, and this week I play. Oh boy, I don't know who I play this week now as I think about it. But so far I'm up by 28 now, so so hopefully that'll be a bright spot for me this weekend as I gonna be watching football very carefully for fantasy football. So that is it, you guys. Hopefully we have hopefully we have a decent week in sports. Hopefully your favorite team wins this weekend. And hopefully I'm not ranting and raving like I was this week. Hopefully my rants and raves made some sense. It just really irritates me that, again, this country is not, we're not together. We're more divided. It is a separate and unequal nation. So hopefully we can change that here. It's only proof because look at one of the presidential candidates. I don't mean to get political, but look at the presidential candidate that we have for representing the Republican Party. He wants to be a country that was divided and scrutinized and just create a witch hunt on people, and that we're not in the world. This is not a type of world that needs to be like that. Those days are over with. So, all right, and that's another video for another day. But that is it for this week for the show here this week. So that's it for Sports Gamer Soapbox Talk podcast here on ESGNet. Again, keep yourselves healthy. Follow the links down there below on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr for the latest videos. Or latest news here on the channel. You guys can check out all this series here down below. There's links down there for those. And stay tuned for a lot of videos coming up this coming week in a lot of your favorite sports series here on the channel. So thank you guys so much for watching and listening. And as always, keep yourselves healthy. And I will see you guys next time.